Cheers of victory erupted across the nerdosphere video gamers when it was announced following fan outcry that Sony had reversed their decision to close the PlayStation 3 and PS Vita digital stores, ensuring that nostalgic gamers will continue to have a dedicated space to talk very highly of, but ultimately ignore, old games.
Couldn't even pull out of the garage without leaking a quart of cynicism in the driveway, eh, brother?
Don't get me wrong, Chen, it's undeniably good news. But it's not that good. Yes, you'll no longer have to smuggle black market honey badgers across state lines for a shady Craigslist deal just to acquire a functional copy of Eat Lead, The Return of Matt Hazard, but the fact is that this isn't a permanent fix and doesn't even begin to address the central issue.
I thought access to old games was the central issue.
There are some hard truths waiting to be confronted down this path, Chan. Are you sure this is a journey you wish to take?
Well, no, not particularly, but I suppose I'm not likely to be doing anything else for the next 2 minutes.
Do you remember back in 2017, PlayStation CEO Jim Ryan gave an interview with Time magazine in which he said, quote, "The PS1 and the PS2 games, they looked ancient, like why would anybody play this?" Which naturally caused the gaming community to absolutely explode in white-hot screaming rage.
The man knew how to inspire a fan base.
Well, here's the thing. He wasn't entirely wrong. I mean, he was wrong to say it out loud. That really should have been covered in the first week of CEO camp. But he's not incorrect in noticing that demand for older titles drops off sharply the further you go back. From a commercial standpoint, it makes perfect sense to shut down operations that are no longer in high demand, and that's PlayStation's entire problem, viewing the whole issue solely through the lens of consumer demand.
But they did reverse the decision, brother.
They reversed part of the decision, Chen. The PlayStation 3 and PS Vita stores are safe for now, but the PSP digital storefront is down for the count. Remember that if you think you've won a long-term victory. All this means is that they won't pull the trigger while there are still cameras rolling.
Surely even a temporary stay of execution counts for something.
Not really, Chen, because the issue isn't simply access to old games. The real issue is game preservation. We all remember the classics, but about 75% of the PlayStation library was utter crap like Rambo the video game.
And Call of Juarez the cartel.
Right, you can't let access to gaming history be dependent on Johnny Public making enough impulse nostalgia purchases to keep the store running. A lot of the content just wasn't that compelling. The entire PlayStation 3 era was the gaming industry's teenage years, just a lumpy, awkward mass of ill-fitting clothes, prominent braces, and unsightly acne.
So the effort is doomed, then.
The only way to ensure access to these games for future generations for recreation and scholarly pursuits alike is for companies like Sony to make a solid commitment to preserving that access, both in terms of the digital storefront and backwards compatibility, undertaken with the understanding that it's not likely to be a commercially viable venture, that it is simply the right and correct thing to do to preserve our gaming history.
So the effort is doomed, then?
Yes. Like the video gamers? We have more such wonders to show you, and all you have to do is subscribe and hit the notifications button.
I mean, you don't have to.
Also consider becoming a patron by following the link to our Patreon page, where we turn your cash into videos, comics, and games using the darkest of dark magics.
But mostly just cash.